Hello children, we are back to study SST of class standard 4, and though we all have completed two chapters, chapter 16 agriculture and chapter 18 major rivers of India. Now chapter 19 is there to be taught, but I am not going to reveal the topic. Before that, I would like to ask you a few questions, and after answering the questions, I hope that you all will understand what is the topic of today's chapter. So get ready to answer the questions. Okay. First question, do you all speak only one language, that is your mother tongue? Suppose you are Bengali, you speak only Bengali. Suppose someone is Odia, you speak only Odia. Or someone is Gujarati or Marathi or Marwadi, whatever. Don't you speak all the languages? Yes. I think we all speak many languages. As many as languages we know, we speak them. It's not that a limitation or a boundary is there for us with a language. Next is about religious festivals. Though we are in India, there are many religions, caste and creed we live here. So suppose you are a Muslim. So your festival is Eid or Bakrid, but don't you enjoy Holi or Diwali or Christmas? Give me the answer, okay? Or suppose you are Bengali, don't you enjoy other festivals? Only Durga Puja? No, it's not like that. And if you are a Christian, don't you celebrate Diwali? Yes, we do it. And we see that whatever may be the festivals, we are ready to enjoy and wish each other and share happiness with each other. I'm not Christian, neither Muslim nor Sikh, but I enjoy all the festivals. I hope and I know that you all also enjoy all the festivals. So, if we are doing all these things together, being a different religious, different caste, different colors, different state, but still we do everything together. So I think now you can reveal the topic of today's chapter. That what is our topic? Yes, it's unity among each other, though we are different from each other. Some are Englishmen, some are Hindu, some are Christian, some are Sikh, some are Muslims. But still we all are known by a common name, that is Indian. Yes, here we come to know that unity in diversity. And I think I'm going to clear the step by step the things which will make more clear that why we say this line, unity in diversity. Okay, so let's continue and proceed with the chapter. So here we are with the chapter unity in diversity. In India, there are different types of religion, culture, caste, even we can see geographical differences. Okay. So mark these points when you are learning it and when you are studying or you are watching the video. Differences, what are the differences in India? Religion, culture, caste and even geographical differences are there. So we will read and learn more about this. And before we start, first we need to know the population. Current population, what is given in the book is the reading of 2011. So, I have given you the current population, that is 136.64 crores. Yes, this is Indian population. Among this, adults are of 67%, and among this, male figure is this much, female figure is this much. You can always notice that male figures are more than female figures. Children are 26.62%, in which male figure is this much, female figure is this much. and aged, which is above 65 years, is 6.38%. In this you can see male is less and female are more. So from here only we can understand one more thing, that in India still many are there who don't like to have a daughter, and they kill them or they don't want them, because it is a predominated mind which is already set, though it's going on and changes are there. In these days we can see a drastic change among the choice of gender. No discriminations are there, but still these are the effects of the past years. Though we are still going on with this in few areas, but not everywhere. And if we talk about language in India, we can see that many types of languages are there. In India, we have more than 200 languages, and language is the main tool of communication. Yes, if we don't know how to speak, how to write, then how we will communicate with each other? How should I convey my message to you, or how will you convey your message to us? So this is the main tool for us in the society to live and to help or be a support for each other. So we can see that without language, social life is impossible to exist. But we can exist, but that will not be a civilized one. We may be pushed thousands of years back as early men, when language was not discovered, when scripts were not discovered, when printing materials were not there, written materials were not there. Those days, surely we don't want to go back to that era. And now we can also know that what are the languages spoken. In North India, mainly Hindi is spoken, and in South India, the language is Dravidian, such as Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu, Kannada, etc. And in West Bengal, Bengali is spoken, and it is well versed over there. And in Western India, we can see Gujarati, Haryanvi, Marathi are some famous languages which are spoken in these areas. And in our constitution, 22 languages are already marked. That means 22 languages consist in our constitution according to 8th schedule. Okay, so these are the diversities of our India. You can see here languages difference. Okay, and geographically also it is different, because we know, if we think about the map of India, on the top it is called Himalayas. At the down opposite to the north is south, it's a coastal area. And east and west also depends, and the different climates are there. You can see this picture given in your book. Though the pictures have been edited very well, they have shown many types of things to identify which area lies where. And you can see everywhere different type of things, different symbols have been given over there, which symbolizes that India has different climate also. So we can also say that India is also having geographical diversities. And then according to the geographical diversities itself, the festivals, the languages, the food also differs. So here comes festival. India is the land of festivals, and there are 3 types of festivals which we celebrate. First is national festival, second is religious festivals, and third is harvest festival. See, now this national festival and harvest festival don't have any religion. National depends, national means it is Indian. And harvest festival doesn't points out that only Hindu will do the agriculture, or only Muslims are related to agriculture field, or only Christians are there who are doing agriculture, farming or whatever. So these festivals are not denoted to any of the religious. That is totally different we will look after that. Now come to learn about national festivals. See, it's clearly given in your book. If you once also go through your books slowly and easily, you will come to know the things very clearly. So, the first national festival is Republic Day. Republic Day is celebrated on 26th January of every year. That is because Constitution of India came into effect on this particular day. So, we celebrate it on 26th January of every year. And on this day, there is a grand parade organized in Delhi near India Gate. Our agricultural developments, industrial products, modern weapons, aeroplanes are put on display along with cultural and folk dances of different states in the parade. You must have seen in the television, or if you have not yet seen, please do watch it this 26th January, which is nearly approaching. Don't forget to watch this program, because if you watch all these things, you will enhance with your own knowledge. And I think you must do these things. Okay? Now let's see next national festival, that is Independence Day. You all know when do we celebrate Independence Day? Yes, that is 15th August 1947. Now we will start with religious festivals. Yes, religious festival means it is related with particular religion. Okay, so let's see and let's start. Diwali, Dashera, or it's also known with the name of Vijayadashmi, Navratri, whatever you can call this. Eid ul Fitr, Christmas, Guru Parv, all these are religious festival. Okay, you see. This is Diwali, festival of lights. You all know more about this. Diwali is celebration of Lord Rama's return to the kingdom of Ayodhya after having spent 14 years in exile, and they were very happy when the king returned to their own palace. So they celebrated Diwali. Next is Dashera or Vijayadashmi. On the 10th day of Navratri or Durgotsav is one of the most significant Hindu festivals. So these both are Hindu festivals, which is one is Diwali and another one is Dashera. Next we can see Eid ul Fitr. It is called Feast of Breaking the Fast. It marks the end of Ramzan. Here in your book it is printed Ramadan, but it will be Ramzan, the Islamic holy month of fasting. Ramzan ends with the festival of Eid ul Fitr. So this is related to Muslim religion. And then comes Christmas. It is a festival of Christians. It is marked the birth of Jesus Christ on 25th December. And it is celebrated as a religious and cultural celebration among billions of people around the globe. Santa Claus is associated with bringing gifts to children. Yes, you must be happy. And every children has one Santa Claus in their life who fulfills their dream and bring them gifts. They are none other than your parents. Don't forget them to thank. Next is Guru Parv. It is related with Sikh. Guru Parv in Sikh tradition is one of the most sacred festivals. The celebrations in the Sikh religion revolve around the birth of first Sikh Guru, Guru Nanak Ji, and the anniversaries of the 10 Gurus. Their birthdays are known as Guru Parv. And as we have the holy book known as Gita for Hindu, Quran for Muslim, Bible for Christians, Guru Granth Sahib book is for Sikh. You must learn or mark all these things in your rough copy, or whenever you are reading all these things or listening to the videos, keep a note of all these things. Okay. Next comes Harvest Festival. Yes, we are talking about 3 types of festivals. The last one is Harvest Festivals. Yes, Holi is one of the famous festivals of a country. We all love to play Holi, only if you don't have skin problems. It is celebrated with full zeal in the month of March. And we also have a bonfire which is called a Holika Dahan. Okay, they celebrate the victory of good over ill. and another day, the very next day, we spray colors and apply gulal on each other. Schools, shops and offices remains closed and we enjoy the sweets, gujia and matri. We visit each other in the evening, we apply gulals and then we enjoy the sweets. Next harvest festival is Baisakhi. Baisakhi is the harvest festival of Punjab. People of Punjab celebrate it on a fixed date, that is 13th April every year, when it is time to harvest the wheat crop. They love to dance on the beat of dhol and perform bhangra. The next one is Pongal. Pongal is the harvest festival of Tamil Nadu. People celebrate Pongal by worshipping the sun, rain and the cattle over 4 days. Yes, here it is, you can also see the clear vision of harvest, because you can see that they worship sun, rain and cattle, which are related and which are the most efficient source of harvesting or agriculture. Without sun, without rain and without cattle, we can't think about agriculture. So here they worship these things. Next is Onam. Onam is also a harvest festival of Kerala. During this season, they have a snake boat race which is very famous and they have it with a very pomp and show. Now comes about food habits. Yes, I already told you all, as India is also having a geographical differences, the food habits depends upon the availability of the materials. Every area you will not get rice, in every place you will not get apple, in every places you will not get everything. Though the things are exported and imported, we sell or we order, the things moves from one state to another, but still the particular area has a particular things which they harvest, which they grow and they enjoy. Like Bengalis have fish, coastal areas also have rice and fish along with the coconuts, because coastal areas you can find lots of coconuts growing over there. Similarly, in northern parts of the country, chapatis made from flour of wheat, gram, maize and bajra are served with dal, vegetable curry, chutney, etc. And in western parts, you can see Rajasthani and Gujarati food has its own flavor and specialty. In southern part of India, you will enjoy idlis and dosas. Other than all these things, we also enjoy Chinese and continental dishes. And the main important thing that in India, traditionally, food is eaten with the right hand fingers. But being extra modern these days, people use cutlery for eating foods also. But the best is to eat with your own hands.